Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the numerology and the energy of September 2021. We're going to take a look initially at the energies that may surface for the collective, which we're all a part of, and then we'll take a deeper dive into your personal life path number. So let's go ahead and get started. So September is a 14-5 energy, which of course boils down to a 5 energetic cycle. But that 14 is influential, okay? So we need to keep that in mind, and I'm going to touch on the energies of the 14 as we move through the reading. But ultimately, this is a 5 energetic cycle. So we have a 5 universal year that we're currently moving through in 2021. And now that 5 energy is enhanced by a 5 universal month. So we can expect great changes that occur abruptly and without much notice. So if ever there were a time to be flexible and full of grace for self and others, it's during a 5 universal year coupled with a 5 universal month. So buckle up, baby, because it's about to get bumpy. But in a good way. Okay, so things under a 5 energy move very, very quickly because it's a fast-moving energy, right? So you may see incredible shifts and transformations within your life at this time. You may never have even seen these shifts coming, right? They just seem to come out of nowhere. This energy can sort of see people completely uprooting or changing their entire life story within the blink of an eye. This energy can often feel like a sort of greater power or higher power is sort of taking the wheel and taking over, and life is almost happening to you. Generally, where this ride takes you will lead you to the realization of, oh wow, I never would have thought to do that or to be this, but I'm so glad that I did, right? So it's like, again, it's like this higher power swoops in and hits fast forward on the story, and where you end up, you ultimately realize is a perfect place for you at that time, if that makes sense, right? So that realization may take some time to get to, but understand that when these big shifts come in, they come in to assist, not to penalize. This isn't vindictive energy, it's transformational. Both can feel incredibly challenging, right? To go through. So when someone's being vindictive, that's a challenging energy to go through. When you're going through some kind of transformation, that is also incredibly challenging at times. So however, the transformational energy will leave you in a better place from where you started. So you just need to keep that in mind. Whatever challenges you face, whatever you're going through, during this 5 energy that is transformational will leave you in a better place than where you started, okay? Even if it takes a little bit of time. So try not to fight this energy, but rather move with it and work with it the best that you can, okay? So speaking of the 14, remember I said 14 is going to have an influence in this energy because it's the influencing number to the 5. So under the influence of the 14, there's this emphasis placed on modification. So life may feel like it's happening to you at times, but you can always find ways to modify or work with the energy to make it work for you without fighting it. It's very possible that the modifications that come up for you at this time to be explored or, expanded upon are modifications to self, to relationships, to career, and to lifestyle that have needed to be adjusted for a while. So this isn't necessarily going to blindside you or be surprising, although for some people it might be, right? It might be one of those things where you're sort of stuck in your comfort zone, stuck in a relationship that's toxic, stuck in a belief system or a lifestyle that's toxic, and you don't realize that it needs to be modified or changed. So it might blindside you, right? It might come in quite swiftly and abruptly, and those modifications might be made. And again, it could feel like a whirlwind. But for the most part, these are going to be things where you kind of knew, you had some kind of a sense that they needed to go away, they needed to change, they needed to be modified, right? And chances are you've known that for a while. So this sort of double dose of 5 energy this month from the 2021 Universal 5 cycle year, and now this September 5 energy, is simply giving you the gentle shove in the direction you need to be facing, right? So that doesn't mean it's going to be easy. That doesn't mean it's going to be without its challenges. However, the struggles and challenges that you face and overcome during this time, or at least they're initiated during this time, through these modifications, will prepare you greatly for the magnificence you're about to step into, right? So again, it's like, it can feel challenging in the moment, but you just have to keep in mind, why is this happening? Why is this coming in? What is this challenge trying to show me? Try to ask yourself as often as possible, what is this challenge trying to show me? What am I meant to learn? Right? Why is this modification coming in now? Where is it trying to take me to, and why is it trying to move me beyond the space, right? Because there's always going to be, an answer there. There's always going to be wisdom to extract from that experience, no matter how challenging. And oftentimes the more challenging, the more wisdom to pull from it. So it's the wisdom of the experience that we're meant to carry with us, not the experience itself, right? Sometimes we get stuck up on the experience where we're like, oh, that really sucked, and now I'm going to think about it and complain about it and, sort of fret about it for the next 10 years. Whereas really what the universe is trying to get us to do is to extract the wisdom from that challenging experience and move freely forward, as opposed to trying to lug that whole experience with us forward and sort of replay it, rehash it, hold a grudge, whatever the case may be. So this is going to be a really quick moving, fast energy, with a lot of transformations, right? And so through that experience, not only are we meant to move ourselves through it and adapt, but we're meant to pull the wisdom from the experience, okay? So a lot going on this month. It's a very intense month. It's a very intense year, right? So I don't really see things slowing down until we get into 2022 at least, right? So if you're looking for a breather, you're probably not going to get it right away, but that's okay, because we're all in the same boat. This is universal energy, so we're all feeling this, baby. So again, proper handling of this 14-5 energetic vibration can produce great wisdom and understanding in your experience. 5 energy can be that of again, a testing nature. It's going to test us. It's going to sort of force us to take a closer look at the challenge, the situation, the modification, and where can we extract the wisdom. It's what we choose to do with this energy that will ultimately determine our overall experience, not only now, but moving forward. And so again, we have a lot of responsibility, but with great power comes great responsibility. So a 5 energetic cycle is also a perfect time to sort of check in with yourself. This is a checkpoint. See where any imbalances lie. What's working? What isn't? Where do I need to make modifications? What do I need to invest more into? So in numerology, where 1 energy is the beginning or the initiation, and 9 energy the completion or the ending, 5 energy sits in the middle, and it's the checkpoint. It creates the space and the opportunity to make the necessary changes needed before continuing on in the journey, to make certain that the direction we're moving in is the direction we actually want to be a part of, right? You don't want to get all the way to the 9 energy and be like, oh crud, I should have switched directions way back at that 5 energy. And so a lot of times the 5 energy doesn't force our hand. We always have choice, right? But it will make things very challenging or uncomfortable to help you see what you need to see, right? And so think of this as the checkpoint. This is why we can often see so many intense and abrupt changes, occur during a 5 cycle, because some of these changes we choose, Some with, some of those changes are created for us by a higher power, but all serving to keep us aligned with our soul's highest mission in this lifetime. So the ego craves safety, security, comfort, and the known. The soul came here for so much more, right? If something feels as though it's being uprooted now, taken away, or there's a sense of upheaval, understand that true change is messy and chaotic at times, but on the other side of that chaos sits harmony, sits balance. So we can also see this playing out on the world stage quite dramatically at this time. So much change has to happen at this time in history, and it's during a 5 cycle that it can appear to be the most chaotic and the most messy. So by dismantling that which is no longer working, that takes some level of destruction and chaos, right, before the calm can enter. So that which is being dismantled often won't go without a fight, but it'll eventually lose steam and recede, right? And that's kind of, like I said, that's what we're seeing sort of play out on the world stage. We really started to see that in the 4 cycle of 2020. And now it's really coming to accumulation during this 5 cycle of 2021. And so I suspect that in September, we're going to see even greater manifestations of that chaos, of that dismantling, of those changes. Maybe not the change happening right away, but where it's highlighted where the change needs to happen. It becomes the front and center. There's no more denying it, right? So this 5 energy will ultimately teach us that the less we resist the change, the more comfortable the process of the change will feel and become. The more we resist the modifications and try to cling to what's no longer needed or no longer working, especially when it's harmful to ourselves or others, then the messier and the more challenging the experience becomes for all involved. So 5 energy teaches us to be flexible, to be adaptable to the inevitable changes and transformations that, it brings into our lives and that we ultimately face throughout our journeys. So allow September and this 5 energy to show you where modifications are needed within your life. Allow whatever changes that sweep in, to highlight for you where something was no longer working and needed an overhaul. If these changes aren't happening directly to you, perhaps you can hold space for those who find themselves immersed within this 5 energy. Perhaps you'll need to be the one creating the change in another person's experience, right? And so regardless, move as gently as possible and take full advantage of this incredibly transformational energy. It's here to help us with swift precision. So keywords this month to keep in mind as you move through this energy, perhaps it can be your mantra, is modification and adaptability. What do I need to modify and how can I be adaptable through the modification? Because I can almost guarantee that there's going to be a lot of modification either taking place this month or highlighted where it needs to take place. And then we're going to start to see that happening. And so the more adaptable that we can be, the more open we can be to the change, the more comfortable the experience will be, and the more that we will gain from the experience. Okay? All right, let's take a closer look at the life path number. Life path number 1. Okay, so I pulled an animal spirit card for you all, and you got snail spirit. And what's interesting is what immediately came in is a couple of things, actually. For some of you, this is a message of there's something that has felt incredibly slow moving. Like, maybe you met a lot of resistance. Maybe it just felt like you've had to do it all alone, or like you haven't had a lot of help to do whatever this is. You've had to hold the vision, hold it in your heart and keep moving towards it. And it's felt sort of endless. It's felt like you've put in a tremendous amount of energy towards whatever this is with not a lot of reward. And for some of you, the message is keep going, no matter how slow moving it feels, because you are on the right path and you are almost there. For some of you, same thing. It feels like, this is something you've had to build, and it's been very meticulous, and it's taken a very long time, and it's something you've had to invest a tremendous amount of energy and time into, and maybe you didn't have the support that you felt you needed. And it's been probably incredibly challenging on a lot of levels. But this, for those of you that this isn't like that message of like, keep going. For some of you, this message is the time is now, where it's like you are seeing things come to completion and a culmination. You're seeing that victory. You're seeing that reward. You're seeing, you've made it type thing. And so all of that hard work, all of that slow going energy, that meticulous, nature, all of that is now paying off, right? So it could be that you're sitting in either camp. One, you're almost there. The other one, you're at the peak, you've summited, you're there, and it's all paying off. And so regardless of where you find yourself, Snail is just wants to send the message that sometimes the slower moving things, the things that take time to grow, to produce, are the ones that last the test of time, are the ones that are the most authentic, are the ones that we are most invested in. And so keep going. Or if you're seeing the things come to fruition at this time for you, then that's like a big kudos to yourself for, again, holding the vision, for continuing to move, against all odds, against any resistance. That patience, that persistence, that dedication is now paying off, okay? And for those of you that you're not seeing it just yet, it's coming, and it's coming very soon. So keep going, okay? So beautiful message from Snail. Sometimes we sort of begrudge the slower moving things, or, we don't see the value in things that don't give us instant gratification, but there's so much value in those things and those details, right? And so Snail is just reminding you that whatever that is, whatever you've been dedicating yourself to and your resources to for what feels like forever, is about to pay off, or is at the culmination of paying off now. And so it was all worth it, okay? So I broke the month down into 4 weeks, and the first week, this is interesting because I'm seeing this energy of almost like fragmentation, like fragmented energy, right? So it's like, it's almost as if you have, well, let me tie these 2 weeks in together, because the first and the second week really correspond really well together. They this is a story. You're seeing like this energy of like fragmented thoughts, fragmented energy, like you're being pulled in 5 million different directions, or you've invested into something or someone so much that a piece of you is with that person, right? And it's almost like in like shamanism, they have like soul retrieval, right? It's like your soul's almost fragmented because of how much time and energy you've invested into whatever this is, or whatever this relationship was, or whoever this person is. And it almost feels like a piece of you is missing at this point. And so really it's this call to, you need to make some choices. And there's this call to, even if it's difficult, even if it requires you to ruffle some feathers, you need to stand up for yourself at this point in time. You need to tell others what you need. And you need to be able to make very decisive decisions using your own discernment for what is best for you and your family and your own autonomy. Okay, even if the decision is difficult, even if it ruffles feathers, even if it goes against the grain, there is this energy of like stepping into your wholeness and your own power, and no longer sort of overlooking what you need to accommodate what other people want. All right. So again, no more sacrificing what you need, whether that's for your mental health, your physical health, your spiritual health. No more sacrificing what you need for what other people want, right? Because there is a difference between need and want. And so figure out that distinction, see what you actually need, and then stop compromising on that, right? And you are going to know your own truth. So find that truth, stand in your own autonomy, and make those difficult decisions and have those difficult conversations. But there's definitely this feeling of like almost looking through a kaleidoscope and you see all the fragmented pieces. It's like trying to make a picture, it's trying to come together, but it's fragmented. And so again, I just get this sense that it's like you are just compromising yourself so much that you're losing sight of your own truth, right? If that makes sense. So that feels very specific. That might not be for everyone, but this is a call to stand in your truth and stand in your power and claim your own autonomy and make the decisions that are best for you at this time. Even if it's difficult, even if you get, you face resistance and pushback, follow your truth, okay? And what's interesting is when we look at the second week of September, we see also all of these sort of choices coming in, and you have an opportunity here to continue to sort of overcommit or spread yourself too thin or say yes to things that you do not want to say yes to, or do things that you don't feel comfortable doing to sort of please others or satiate the desires of others. And so this is really asking you again to use your own discernment. And now this can be across the board with, many different things. And we talked about 5 energy bringing in a lot of change. So ones, I anticipate you're going to see a lot of change come up, especially around the second week, with a lot of different choices to make. And the key here is to make those choices from your inner knowing, from a space where, again, you're not compromising who you are or what you need to please others or to sort of accommodate others or fall into the mold, right? Because remember, as ones, you all break the mold. You are the ones who are at the forefront, leading the crowd, right? Like to victory, to something higher, something better. And sometimes that comes with a lot of difficult decision making and making decisions that others might not understand at this moment, but they don't need to understand it just yet. You need to understand it, and you need to go after what it is that you feel is right for you at this time. And I get this sense that for some of you, this is going to be around money, resources, a job, career, something like that. It could be that you have a very stable, secure job that's very in the mold, right? And you have an opportunity to break that mold and go off on your own or start something new or take a leap of faith that includes a level of risk. But that level of risk is letting you step into your own autonomy. You see what I'm saying? And so there is that is supported, especially as a one, that is supported. And so I feel like around, especially the first and second week, you're going to have a lot of decisions to make, a lot of choices to make. It's going to feel like a lot of change coming in. It can feel like the rug is being pulled out from underneath you and you're almost being forced to make some decisions. And the key is to make those decisions from a place of your own truth, okay? And the best to your ability, right? Do your best. But yeah, and so for some of you, I feel like this could be around career, and it can be incredibly challenging to leave something that you feel very comfortable in or that is easily paying the bills or you're making life easy for you, but you're not fulfilled, right? You're not stepping into really your one power because you don't have your own creative expression. You're not doing what fulfills your soul, whatever the case may be. Not telling you what to do here, but just saying, if a lot of choices come up and it's around career for some of you, and it's about maybe leaving a career that you've been in, but you don't have a creative voice or you can't use your voice within that, it's not respected or whatever the case may be, you may find at this time that is either being pulled out from underneath you or you are being faced with a decision to leave it. So I'm not sure how that will surface, but definitely a lot of decisions and choices coming in around this time, and it can feel overwhelming and hectic. Go within, follow that inner guidance, because that is going to give you the most sound aligned answer for your current situation. Okay. We move into the third week, and this is really beautiful energy. I see some kind of like very emotional offer coming in for you, emotional, but in like a good way. And this is like a coming together. So this can be internal, let's just use the example, like second week, you have all these choices, you end up leaving the job you've been in that's mundane and just doesn't suit you. You've been in it for the last 10 years and you decide to leave it. Now you get this incredible opportunity coming around the third week that allows you to feel much more whole, that allows you to step into your power. And so there's like this coming together of, the offer is almost, or the emotional offer is almost the offer you make to yourself, or like the offer your soul is making to you to say, this is what we need to do, and here's the opportunity to do it. And then it's kind of like this feeling of like the masculine and feminine energy from within you coming together. It's like this unification of self, which is really, really incredibly beautiful. Now, for some of you, this could be more external. This could be an emotional offer coming from a partner taking something to the next level, a proposal, starting a family. This feels like relationships, though. This definitely feels like relationships. It doesn't have to be like partner relationships, but it feels like a coming together. This could be a business partnership. This could be someone making an offer to you to collaborate in some way that just feels very divinely guided and divinely timed. And it's going to feel so supported that it would be hard for you to say no to this. For some of you, this is meeting a soulmate or a twin flame or whatever the case may be, but this is a very divinely guided relationship. This could be someone like who you've known in a past life, and you guys have an agreement to meet in this lifetime, and this is the time you meet. And this person, you will do for each other whatever it is that your soul contracted to do in this lifetime to assist the other soul. So it's that kind of agreement, it's that kind of coming together, which is really incredibly powerful. When these kind of meetings take place, it is, again, it's divine. It's like when there's a lightning bolt and the clouds crash back together and you hear the thunder, it's like that. And so again, this can be internal. This can be you, like a unification of soul from all those fragmented parts of yourself, right? Which would totally make sense given, the energy at the beginning of the month where I said I saw a lot of fragmented energy. And so this could be you coming back together, standing in your power, knowing what you want and going after that with no apologies and no excuses needed. And so again, it could be an offer you make to yourself. So really incredible, powerful energy, really all month, but especially that third week as well. But for some of you, this may be somebody coming in, another soul coming into your experience to assist you and taking this to the next level in some way. And it feels very purposeful as well. So that's powerful. And then, the fourth week, you see like this major inspiration coming in for you all, like a huge aha moment, big light bulb going off, and you are like standing in your power, holding your sword, throwing that sword to the ground and being like, this is what I'm doing. Either get on board or get off because this train is leaving and you're either with me or you're off, right? And so, I definitely see a lot of discernment here, a lot of decisiveness, and you standing in your power. And this feels like your energy 100%. This could be someone, for some of you, it's a general reading. This could be somebody coming in for you that's sort of assisting you to make this decision. But this whole month for you feels like you standing in your power and going after what you want without apology, right? As long as it's not hurting you or somebody else, But this is like major inspiration from the divine coming in for you, feeling like you've got, you're standing on solid ground now. You can make these decisions. You don't feel as fragmented. You feel like, I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to say what I need to say without apology. I'm going to ask for what I need without apology and without an excuse or the need to offer any kind of justification. You know what you need, and so go after that. And so I'm definitely seeing, again, this level of discernment, this level of decisiveness that maybe you haven't had for some time coming in strongly now. And so this is setting you up for whatever is going to transpire in the months that follow. But this is incredibly powerful energy. all of this entire month is really powerful energy of you coming back to self, you figuring out your own truth, what you want, and how to go after it, which is so awesome for one energy because, this is you standing, like I said, standing in your power, leading the pack, like not falling back into the mold. I think those days are done, right? It's like, I think you're over the mold. I think you're overdoing things the way things have always been done or how you're expected to do things, right? Because that's not what you're about. That's not what one energy is about. You're meant to do it differently, create something differently, create the new mold, whatever the case may be. And you're meant to do it kind of slowly. It's not meant to be one of these fast moving things. This is a journey, just like snail energy, but it will be worth the effort. It will be worth those relationships that have to fall away because they can't see the vision, because they don't honor your truth, right? So, interesting energies this month, ones, but this is you just, no holds barred, just going after what it is that you want, figuring it out, and, like I said, taking names and moving on. So powerful energy in September for you all ones. I'd like to see it though, because this is like one energy to the nth degree. So love it, love it. I hope it's an awesome September for you all. I think it's going to be pretty powerful. So take care, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. Bye for now.